I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Now let's talk about how the philosophy that sports always clarify about the fairness and the fair play of one match is missing in the current status quo of La Liga segment. In the current status quo, the match of football league itself becoming so unfair for many and many decades. The league are dominated only by the top mega rich clubs such as Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester, and you name it. They don't have the capital salary caps, which is the limitation of budget one club can spend on its player to transfer into their club. This is how the situation can be disproportionate and unbalanced happen. The amount of capital income that the small teams and the top clubs of course differentiate. The top club earn a lot of resources and funds from investors and sponsorship. They open up their football club to open stock market. These mega rich clubs of course has dozens of investors such as Barcelona with 60 partners, and they have partnership and brand deals with sports brands, and there is such as Nike and Adidas, and not to mention they also gain profit from ticketing and merchandise selling and many more. And of course, they are at advantages because they have a bigger fan base to begin with. And in the current status quo, they are not regulated in any way. They want to spend their money. They have the right to spend any amount of money on with a budget allocation that they spend on one player. So what happened in the current status quo are many mega stars are gathered in one club only. And of course, we do not want that because it is betraying the fairness of sport itself. And to make this debate clear, let's frame a couple of things here. Firstly, we want to return the essence of football match in which club and player and also the league are holding the value of fairness and providing a chance that all clubs have the same opportunity to compete and shining in the World League. And now that is the stance that we hold in this debate. And B, talking about how the salary caps will look like. We will limit on how much the club can spend on transferring player into the amount that all player can afford, and the parameter here is amount that is not too high that small clubs cannot keep up, and not too small that the players are not being appreciated here. Such as when the Barcelona usually bid at 50 million, we will limit it down to only 20 million, so that the bid is not too high that the small cannot afford, but not too low that the player does not feel at loss at all. And see, talking about where the funds are going to allocate it instead, the clubs can still allocate the funds they have outside of the salary payments. For example, coaching, nutrition, quality of facility, etc. So the limitations are only enforced to when transferring a player, and then they still have the right to use their money and other fundamental part and improving their matches. And now let's move on to my argument. My first argument is going to talk about the salary caps implementation is important on league and the philosophy of sport itself. Now let's frame how the condition of La Liga without salary caps. Let's bring in the league and the comparison of what the condition of small clubs and big clubs are. The match of the football league have become so unfair for many and many decades, and we know that because now there is over domination. They can know about this over domination for the top club can afford on spending millions of capital for a player that absolutely dominate in match. Over domination is so big at some point it becomes so predictable. If they play, they are the one who going to win against the enemy with a valuable player gathered in one club. The best striker, the best keeper, the best bidder are gathered in one club. So what are the outcomes? Because only these mega rich clubs to dominate, they are the only one who wins the match, getting the awards for maybe the best takers, best weakness, and many more. They get everything, and only the top clubs get it because they are the one who had advantages of good player in them. And competition becoming so predictable that there is little to no competitiveness in the match, and this causes huge gap. Because now how about the small clubs? They do not get a chance of playing in the big league segment because the moment they get in, they are going to match with a top player, and this is advantaging because for the big clubs, because now small clubs are still new and the players still of course improving, and now they are going to match with a club that have all-rounder player. The small clubs do not stand a chance, and this link back on unfairness because now they are already afraid to dominate the top players, and they also keep winning back-to-back, occupying the top ranked classes and absolute dominating, and they always win in the end of the day. And how problematic it is. This is fair backlash with the philosophy of sport, and a fair match which upholds the fairness and the fair play in the match. The value are emphasized a lot, an example of fighting a fair play in FIFA where doping is banned. In the current league, there is little to no competitiveness, as now the winners are predictable. And this links back on how unfairness and uncompetitiveness on league actually makes a problem on the league. And now let's talk about what kind of ideal situation of league is, and the kind of match that people are actually interested in are the competition that is exciting, and they want to see some diverse teams rather than the same team winning and over them without exciting play match every time. This is what we want to give into the league, and we want the sports to uphold the value of fair play in matches and competitiveness in the league. With the salary caps, this will be cut down the cap between the small clubs and the top clubs, because this could happen now every time they only have 2 to 3 players, and the top players are spread across the team across the nation, and this will create more dynamic into the league, and competitiveness will create more diverse and exciting matches while still aligning with the value of fair play in the sport, because now the power players are not gathered in one club, and this links back to these salary caps are important to imply to the league. And now let's move on to my second argument. My second argument is going to talk about how this will give a chance of improvement on league and also small clubs and player. And my second layer, let's take on the situation of league after we imply the salary caps and how it will improve the league and ultimately are going to impact the clubs and the player. Take a look at the current status quo. Now, the main problem are overdomination with the top clubs that make the situation of football leagues are not exciting and interesting to watch because it has been so predictable anyway. Let's take a look on the situation of Spain league. In the city of Madrid itself, there is so many small clubs and such as Atletico Madrid, Leganes, and etc. And these clubs are actually had the potential becoming a good big club, but because the skill of the player is not bad at all. But what happened? They are always overcrowded by the Real Madrid. The mega rich club can take the top player and always are going to make a gap in the match anyway, so it is predictable who will win. This will create less excitement surrounding the league on the city because the match is going to be the same and there is nothing different to expect anyway. So yeah, the audience is less excited to wait for the match, and this creates less attention because there is no competitiveness that they want to see. So this is where the salary caps come in. With the normalization and makes every club equal, we are going to make the league more interesting and more exciting for the audience, because of there's always going to be a rising club and player because the match are equal and fair. So every club had a chance to show off this dynamic. This dynamic makes a match more interesting because there is a diverse club with different characteristics, different tactics and play style that makes the games more interesting. And B, this will gather more attention and excitement for the people that want to see a unique matches every time, and they know that they can tune in and have interesting matches. And with that, the league are going to improve the game's dynamic because the diverse team and player, because there is no overdominating and the games are competitive. So in the end of the day, this is ultimately going to affect the club and the player as well, because when the small clubs are rising in the league, the clubs are going to gain attention because we are talking about competitive dynamic in the games, and this will build a fan base on their own. And B, they can improve every player in club, and there is no golden child in club, and every player had a chance to improve all together. And therefore we deserve to win in this debate because we proved to you that the importance and also the benefit of salary caps is exclusive under us. And I'm so proud to propose as a prime minister of opposition of government side. Thank you.